So I was just listening to Zowoki this morning, and oh, I've discovered I came to this realization that we have another AD on our hands. Now he's not quite AD; he's more likable than AD. He's a nicer guy than AD, but the stuff that he's coming up with about NK is just to get views, simply to get views. And he's presenting these things in this recent video under the guise that he's debunking and setting the record straight about certain things. But you know and I'm just going to say this, and I've said this in a community post. I knew that the Watts case was over, shut and closed 5 years ago, and you've got these people who are still hanging on and trying to get everything they can. They're trying to get everything, every last drop out of that Watts bottle, in order to get views, subs, more money in their hands. And that's the stage where Zowoki's at. He's all about getting the next subscriber and getting his popularity up. And I don't, he's a young guy, relatively young, seems fun. I don't dislike Zowoki. I want to make that clear. At least I don't at the moment. Who knows down the line? At least he's not going after Shanann or the R family like some of the others were. But the stuff that he's coming up with would not even pass the smell test in a courtroom. There's just really no evidence against NK at all. And I rack my brain every day when I think of this case to try and understand this obsession with NK, because I'm sure if she didn't look the way she did, no one would be interested in her. And yes, she may not have told the full truth about certain things, but that doesn't mean anything. She may have deleted some of her messages, but they can be retrieved. Still doesn't mean anything. If I had sent the type of, and I have in the past with my ex-boyfriends, I have sent those kind of, things. I would have deleted, my correspondence as well. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, if she said something in the room that wasn't true, for example, this is the only way that it would make a difference, or this is the only way that it would make an impact. So, for example, if NK said she wasn't there on the said night, and it's later discovered that she was there, that is something that would impact this case. But seeing as she wasn't there, and it can't be proven that she was ever there on the said night, the little white lies she may have told make absolutely no difference. So, for example, she may have said she may have liked Chris more than she admitted. And she might not have admitted how much she liked him. But that's not going to make an impact on this case. I knew Chris was the man and the only lone wolf from day one. He really is somebody who mimics behavior, and everything that came out of his mouth, like even when he sat in the room and he said that, he misses his kids throwing chicken nuggets at him, everything he said was with such a flat affect. I remember when I was a kid and I would be walking on the street with my parents, and if I was walking even a slightly like 2 inches behind my dad, he would turn around, say, walk in front of us. We need to be able to see you. He would be paranoid if I was walking behind him. And I don't get along with my dad now, and I'm not close to him at all. But as a child, he was so overprotective. The fact that NA, Nicole Atkinson, displayed more concern for the fact that she couldn't get in contact with Shanann than Chris, the fact that NA was more concerned that she'd missed a doctor's appointment, an important doctor's appointment. Chris didn't display any concern at all. I didn't see any urgency in Chris. All of his answers were flat. He seemed to be mimicking the behavior of what he thought he was supposed to say. Not to mention his ever-changing stories. All of these things, and the fact that his first confession makes absolutely no sense at all. All of these things And the fact that Cece and Bella were in his care when this happened, all of these things make me believe that not only did he do it, but that there's no one else involved. You see that when Zowoki does his other stuff, the gaming stuff that he does and the paranormal or whatever, you see that he doesn't get the same amount of attention for those videos as he does with the NK stuff. And just like AD, he's using NK to get these views. And I just want to dispel some other ridiculous myths that have been made up about this case. And I'm just going to say it. And you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me. You can have your own opinion. But this case is closed. It's never going to be reopened. There's a myth that if a new DA comes in, that there's a possibility that this case can be reopened and Chris can go for a 35C. It's never going to happen. And people say to me, what if you're proven wrong down the line? I have absolutely no concern about being proven wrong down the line because my life does not depend on this. I'm more interested in having a roof over my head, being able to eat good food, having my freedom, and all of these things. I started my channel simply to share my opinions and my passions with you, and that's it. I never started my channel to verify myself or to have to prove myself. I never started my channel because I think I have to be right all the time. These are the facts. This case is closed. They've been telling you this for years. It's never going to be reopened. I see Zowoki sitting there. I want the case. I want full justice. I want the case to be... They need to question Nicole Kessinger. They questioned Nicole Kessinger for over an hour. There's a video on Frankie's channel where they questioned her for over an hour. What more can they do? They have no probable cause to look into her any further. The other myth about this is that this case was closed too quickly. No, it wasn't closed too quickly. The other myth is that there was no investigation. The investigation was they went to where Chris worked as a field coordinator. They went to the oil field where he worked as a field coordinator, and that's where they found Chris's family. Basically, he's not exactly very smart. Chris was bargaining on his good guy, nice guy image to get him through. And it didn't work because Tammy Lee and Graham Coder were smart enough to see through his nonsense. And as far as I'm concerned, the fact that Bella, CC, Shanann, and Nico were at his oil site where he worked as a field coordinator, the fact that they were found there puts all the responsibility onto him and no one else. Nicole Kessinger didn't work at the oil site as a field coordinator. Only Chris did, okay? So all roads lead to Chris. Not to mention you have the financial woes in the marriage, and you've got insurance policy where he was set to get a lot of money. Then you've got this relationship with Nicole Kessinger. I mean, the evidence against him is so overwhelming. And there's nothing else against, there's no evidence against anybody else. And the investigation was the fact that they went to search the oil field, and that's where they found his family. That was the investigation. So the investigation wasn't closed down too quickly. Once they found all they needed to find, once they found Chris's family, there was no need to pursue anything else. So I'm not at all concerned about being proven wrong. This case is closed. It's shut. It's on lockdown. A new DA is not going to make a difference. Weld County do not care about Nicole Kessinger. She is free and has the right to live her life as a free citizen of the United States of America. She's been given that right. And no one has the right to take that away from her, whether you like her or not. This is not about whether you like Nicole Kessinger or not. I don't like Nicole Kessinger very much. But there's absolutely no reason why she shouldn't be able to live her life as a free citizen if Weld County have told you time and time and time again that they are not interested in pursuing her. DA Rourke says, we're not looking for her. Don't ask me to find her. not interested. And D.A. Rourke, if he wants to make money out of his own podcast that his wife is questioning him on, he's allowed to do that. It's his right to make money out of his own podcast and his own work.